Good morning. It is Monday, I guess. Monday the 23rd. All the days are starting to blur together here, but this is day 4 of remote learning, and we're going to review section 8.2. So basically, section 8.2, we did 3 things. We multiplied a polynomial by a monomial, which are these 2 examples I'm going to do out for you here. We did some more complicated simplifying where we had a situation like this and then another situation like this and then had to combine like terms. And then finally, we solved some equations that used these skills. So I'm just going to get right into this. Again, feel free to email me or Google Chat if you have any questions, but let's just get started. Basically, if we've got a monomial multiplied by a polynomial, the trick is just to distribute. So we're actually going to distribute this 3x to every term inside the parentheses. And we want to make sure that we use the exponent rules that we learned in chapter 5. So if we are multiplying variables, we're going to add the exponents. So 3x times x to the 4th is 3x to the 1, and 4 is 5. 3x times x cubed, 1 and 3 is 4. So 3x times x cubed is 3x to the 4th. And then finally, 3x times 2x squared is 6x cubed. And since we don't have any like terms here in our answer, this problem is actually done right now. The second example is a little more complicated because we've got multiple variables, but the process is the same. So again, we're going to distribute this monomial in the front to every term of our polynomial. Negative 4 times 2 is negative 8. And now I'm just going to go variable by variable. So there's an x squared here, an x here, so that's x to the 3rd. And then we still have this y squared hanging out. Now we're going to do the monomial by the middle term. So negative 4 times negative 3 is positive 12. X squared times x squared is x to the 4th. And again, we still have this y. And then finally, the last term, negative 4x squared times 4y, negative 16x squared y. And it's a good idea to double check again, see if we have like terms. They all have x's and y's, but none of them have x's and y's to the exact same exponent, so there are no like terms, and this problem is done. Okay, the second thing we did in this section just involved a few more steps. So if you look at this as 2 separate problems, we've got something just like we did on the first 2 examples here, something just like we did on the first 2 examples here. So we're going to do that twice, and then we're going to combine like terms at the end. So the first thing we're going to do is do 6a times this binomial here. 6a times 2a is 12a squared. 6a times a negative 1c is negative 6ac. And then I'm going to jump over to the second part of this problem, and I'm going to distribute 2a to both of the terms over here. So positive 2a times negative 4a is negative 8a squared. Positive 2a times 5c is positive 10ac. And now that I've eliminated all the parentheses, now is when I can start to look at this and see if there are like terms. What you should notice is that there's an a squared here, and there's an a squared here. So I can combine these terms. 12a squared minus 8a squared. 12 minus 8 is 4a squared. And then these terms both have an ac. So negative 6ac plus 10ac is positive 4ac. And that problem is done. For the one on the bottom, same idea, a few more steps, but we're going to go with it. So we're going to distribute this 4r to all 3 terms of this trinomial. 4r times 2r squared is 8r cubed. 4r times negative 3r is negative 12r squared. And finally, 4r times 5 is 20r. And now, just like we did in this example up here, we're going to do this again. We're going to distribute 6r to the 3 terms of this trinomial. 6r times 4r squared is 24r cubed. 6r times 2r is 12r squared. And 6r times negative 8 is negative 48r. Now, we've got the parentheses gone. Our job is to simply look for like terms. So I see a couple of terms with r cubes. Here's one. Here's another one. So 8r cubed plus 24r cubed. 8 plus 24 is 32r cubed. I see terms with r squareds. So negative 12r squared plus 12r squared. Well, negative 12 plus 12 is nothing. Those terms actually cancel out, so I don't even have to worry about those anymore. And 20r minus 48r. 20 minus 48 is negative 28r. And so this is our final answer to this example. Okay, the very last thing we did in this section was use these skills and apply them to solving equations. So same idea applies. The only difference now is we have an equal sign and our goal is some sort of answer that looks like x equals something. So we are going to eliminate the parentheses first by distributing 3x times x is 3x squared. 3x times negative 5 is negative 15x. And then I'm actually just going to write the rest of the equation before I figure out what I do next. Now, if you look at the left side of this equation, we've got 3x squared minus 3x squared. And 3x squared minus 3x squared is nothing. So those two terms cancel. We're left with negative 15x equals negative 30. And by now, of course, we've been solving equations like this since probably September. So to get x by itself, we are going to divide both sides by negative 15. And we're left with x equals 2. For the second example, we've got 2 parts that we need to distribute. So first we'll do x times x plus 2. X times x is x squared. X times 2 is 2x. And now I'm going to jump over here. Be careful with your signs. I'm distributing a negative x, so think of this as negative 1x times 1x is negative 1x squared. Negative x times negative 6, negative times negative is positive 6x. The right side of this equation isn't going to change right now. So we're here. I would suggest probably looking at the left-hand side, which has a lot going on, and combining like terms. X squared minus x squared. Well, that's nothing, thank goodness, because we don't know how to solve an equation with an x squared term. 2x plus 6x is 8x. So already this is looking a lot simpler. And now I just want to get the x's on one side. I already have an x over here, so I'm going to move this 10x over. Subtract 10x from both sides. Let's shift this up so you can see what's happening. 8x minus 10x is negative 2x equals, these terms cancel, negative 12. And then finally, the very last step, to get x by itself, we're going to divide by negative 2. And we're left with x equals 6. So there you have it. There's our quick review of section 8.2. You have, I think, 8 problems to practice. And you should be anticipating a formative assessment probably the day after tomorrow in Google Form format. So there you go. Good luck. Make sure you do your homework, upload a picture, and send it to me in an email. Thanks, guys.